Tango Jimmy, please could Alan speak about the protocols of Zion?
Yeah, the protocols were first brought to the West, or at least in the English-speaking countries, and at the time of the Russian Revolution, just before it, and basically, although it was brought in then, it actually circulated in some lodges, Masonic lodges in France in the 1800s, the same thing. And there's many takes on who wrote it. Some of the Masons have put out that a particular Jewish revolutionary, who was also a Mason, had actually done a sort of dialogue, as Plato would with in his dialogues, a fictitious character or a fictitious audience, and put the stuff out. However, no one could deny that whoever put the stuff out understood the formula for the future, because pretty well everything in there, whoever put it out, certainly knew that for the next, what was going to happen in the next 100 years at least, because there's too many truths in there, even to do with inoculations to kill off the people, make them sick, the creation of making sport a craze throughout the world. In the early 1900s, there were no great soccer fields, there were no arenas across the countries for ball games and so on, and yet they said they'd make that into almost an obsession, which they've done. There were far too many truths in there, so they understood whoever it was, and some people think it was the Priori de Zion, which again still exists today, taken off from the Knights Templars, and regardless of the finger pointing, there's no doubt that it was a high group of esoteric occultists, probably very, very high Masons, who understood the agenda for the next 100 years, because there's too many truths contained within. A tremendous understanding of human nature.
So when we take a look, and we know that there are many different forms of Judaism, and we also know that rather the suppression of free speech in order to pave the way for the establishment of a totalitarian Zionist global government functioning as an arm of the Illuminati.
Yep.
So
you see, this is the thing too, that these people who run the world are tremendously legalistic. So much so that they'll give you the truth always, but it's not necessary that you understand you've been given the truth. And they'll do it in such a way as to, apart from the books they put out in the libraries that no one reads, to do with laws or their planning, etc., the dry books put out by the high-level bureaucrats, they also put it out in the holy books they've given the people down through the thousands of years. And within, see, every Masonic lodge uses the black book of the law. That's the Old Testament. That's the rules of the game. There's an esoteric story for the people with pictures of Moses in their head, and there's the esoteric reality for those within. You see, it's all the stories. And they in the New Testament, which is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John primarily, the four seasons, the four signs, the north, south, east, and west. It's the four constellations. That's why in the Vatican ceiling they've got the man, the eagle, the ox, and the lion. These are constellations, and you'll see them next to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and it's also in the Old Testament, the same animals are used when the so-called blessings on the so-called 12 tribes are given. You'll see that the blessings are nothing more than the constellations of the zodiac. That's what the 12 tribes were. They were constellations. The 12 disciples were constellations. And the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, with those symbols, are four of the main standards of the so-called fictitious tribes of Israel. Israel is Isis, Ra-El. Israel, that's what it means. Zion is the same thing. It's the first two letters in Hebrew of the moon, S-I, and then On is the phallic symbol of regeneration from the city of Egypt called On, which the Greeks called Heliopolis. That's traditional Kabbalistic teaching, esoteric, high. So that's the truth of it. Zion, the true Zionists are the ancient occultists, and that's why they write in the New Testament and they make sure that the people understand it on a one level, but they don't understand it on another. They always say those who are Jews and are not. There's two types in here. Always two types.
Yeah, if you try to tell that to some of them, they get very upset. And this person, I think, is still wanting his answer from us for, I cannot understand the St. Patrick's Day parade. You have Freemasons in the parade like the Shriners, elite Jewish Freemasons, dignitaries, civil and religious, giving the Freemasonic signs, yet everyone is oblivious to the display of nationalism disguised under what pagan rites are affirmed in a plan of view of God-fearing Catholics. And that is a sad thing, that even this is not understood by people, that religions were made for the purpose to control the masses.
See, here's the thing you should understand, and it's a little tidbit. The ancients always said, even the Egyptians would say this to the peasantry. You see, there's always a peasantry. The vast bulk are always illiterate peasants. And they would tell them that the sun rose from its cave. That's what they said. It came from its cave. And at night went into its cave. Sometimes they called it a gate for the middle esoteric. But for the peasants below, they called it a cave. And you'll find the traditional stories to do with, say, the birth of Jesus. Nowhere in the New Testament does it say that he was born in a cave, and yet they have a grotto, you see. They always have the grotto for Christmas, and the stories that go along at Sunday school as well. You see, this was a sort of stable that was chiseled out of rock, and it was sort of a cave, you see.
Yeah.
And so you have, that's what it means. The animals, of course, are the animals of the zodiac, the animals that are in the stable.
Yeah.
And then you'll find the same thing with Mohammed. Mohammed got he heard God talking to him and what he was to do in a cave. Same, see, this cave keeps popping up down through history. The same symbology. It's all to do with a cave. We know also that the Matric rites and even the Albigensian rites later on, and other groups down through the ages would take place in caves often, and places underground.
Yeah, because that is why they also keep on saying, oh, all the Christians, they were in caves. It's just, you know, it's nonsense. Oh, no, but that's...
On the English word, because in the English language, which is Masonically created in the 1500s, with all the codings in it, the C can be pronounced as an S. And so when you say cave, it's got save in it. It's all plays on words and language encodings and so on. And it's also in all of the old religious pictures, tremendously beautiful to look at, tremendous artwork. You'll find all of the constellations within those symbols. You'll see the sun symbol behind the holy people, where you have a circle around their head. And generally it's the 3 points, it should be 4 points, we have the sun behind them. It's the same old sun worship down through the ages. Even Albert Pike gives a little tongue-in-cheek clue when he says a strange thing to call the god, you know, the son of the morning. And so is Lucifer called the same thing, you know, the morning star.
Yeah,
it's one and the same thing.
Pretty sad,
The sun is a star. A star is not a planet.
No.
A sun and a star are on fire, you see. They're on fire. A planet is not. A planet's like Earth.
We have another letter.